10 mistakes these NBA franchises still haven't recovered from. Before we start, I'd want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to SporTastic. Here are 10 mistakes these NBA franchises still haven't recovered from. Number 10, Raptors losing Chris Bosh. Bosh was an instant star when Toronto drafted him in 2003. The Rookie of the Year and a good player. He led the Raptors to the playoffs in 2006, but the team experienced some slumps afterwards. Despite that, Bosh clearly was the biggest star of the team, and fans loved to come out for him. Yet Toronto felt it was better to do an overhaul for younger talent and didn't renew Bosh's contract. Bosh thus went to Miami, where he would join LeBron and Wade to win 2 NBA titles. While the Raptors have had a couple of playoff runs in the last couple of seasons, it's quite obvious that losing Bosh was a move that set Toronto back majorly.
Weeks and then, everybody knew my name after that. It was a defining moment. I think I haven't been less famous ever since. The city was used to the essence.
Number 9, Pistons make Joe Dumars GM. As a player, Joe Dumars is a Pistons legend. He was part of the Bad Boys team that won 2 NBA titles and the MVP of the '89 finals. So Detroit fans were willing to back him when the Pistons hired him as a general manager. Sadly, Dumars' tenure in that spot is cited as a horrific period for the Pistons. At first, it seemed good with Detroit winning the 2004 title and some good playoff runs, but then Dumars began making some very bad moves. He traded Brandon Knight and Chauncey Billups, drafted Montein Cleaves, Rodney White, and of course, Darko Milicic, and signed Charlie Villanueva and Ben Gordon for a combined 10 years and $96 million. The results spoke for themselves though, as the Pistons didn't have a winning season in a decade. Even though Dumars had been gone for a few years, his reign turned the Pistons into a broken down heap.
Detroit coming back. Vinnie Johnson. Short. And a jump ball is Rodman.
Number 8, Trailblazers drafting Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. In many ways, the Trailblazers have never truly gotten over drafting Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan in '84. However, some of the recent moves haven't been that good either. In 2007, Oden was the number 1 pick in the draft, with the Trailblazers feeling they had their superstar thanks to Oden's breakout college career. That he had to immediately endure surgery should have been a major warning sign. In his first game, he lasted 13 scoreless minutes before having to walk off due to a foot injury. Over the next 4 years, Oden was marked by poor play and constant injuries, so he spent more time on the bench than on the court. The Blazers were stuck with him thanks to a hefty contract that ate their salary cap. He was finally waived in 2012, as Portland fans can only marvel at how not once but twice the Trailblazers blew a high draft pick.
Super tall shooting guard. And then there was this guy, Greg Oden. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today we're going to talk about Greg Oden's career. Why did he get...
Number 7, Clippers trade pick that becomes Kyrie Irving. In the annals of incredibly short-sighted moves, few in recent times can top this. The Clippers were looking to rebuild in 2011 and thought of getting rid of Baron Davis's contract was a good move. They shipped him off to Cleveland in a deal that also involved an unprotected first-round pick. That pick would be used by the Cavs to get their hands on Kyrie Irving. As everyone knows, Irving would be the key to the Cavs' revival as he and LeBron James clicked nicely on the court. It led the Cavs to 4 straight NBA Finals, winning the championship in 2016. Irving is now pushing up the Celtics, and while the Clippers have had a few playoff appearances, there can be no denying how much they'd be fit if they had just kept their chance to get Irving.
But nope, we had to get rid of his horrible contract. Screw you, Donald Sterling, racist piece of garbage. But listen, now it looks like he might have a chance to come home. Right here, I'm displaying it on the screen.
Number 6, Knicks hiring Phil Jackson. Make no mistake, Phil Jackson is one of the greatest coaches in NBA history. His 11 rings with the Bulls and Lakers prove that. Sadly, trying to use his usual Zen philosophy strategy as GM of the Knicks did not work. He made trades for Raymond Felton and draft picks that made utterly no sense whatsoever. He fired Mike Woodson and his entire staff, and the results speak for themselves. The 2015-16 campaign was the worst season in Knicks history, marked with a 16-game losing streak. The final straw was when Jackson tried to buy out Carmelo Anthony's contract, which pushed his exit to the Thunder. While now he's gone, the Knicks are still hurting as Jackson showcased one of the worst attempts by a coach to move into being an executive.
Most of them don't even know how to run the triangle offense. Same thing with the players. They don't know what the triangle is. They don't want to run it. And it's really weird watching the Knicks over these last few seasons.
Number 5, Heat losing LeBron. The Miami Heat have had lots of ups and downs over the years. They went from a truly lackluster first season to a great team in the 2000s that won titles only to slump right back down again. Landing LeBron James was a huge move as he, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh united into a major unit. They faltered their first year but came back together for back-to-back championships. After they fell short of a three-peat, The Heat were still eager to sign LeBron, but balked at his price. Thus, LeBron went back to the Cavs to finally get Cleveland a title. While the Heat have made playoffs a couple of times, they've definitely regressed without King James, and losing him caused the Heat to lose a lot more of their own fire. Number 4, Pistons trading the farm for Brandon Jennings. It makes sense that Joe Doomer's last move as Pistons GM was arguably the worst. Convinced Brandon Jennings was a future superstar, Doomer's traded Brandon Knight, Chris Middleton, and Vyacheslav Kravets to land Jennings for a 3-year, $25 million contract. He was good at first, but then missed most of 2014-2015 due to an injury and was never quite the same. He could have good games, but far too many bad ones, and his contract hurting the team's salary cap. After just 3 seasons, Jennings was traded to Orlando, and thus cost Detroit a lot of cash amid some poor play. A fitting capper to Doomer's tenure. Number 3, Chicago Bulls dismantled the dynasty overnight. Throughout the 90s, the Bulls dominated the NBA much like the Warriors do today. With Michael Jordan at the helm, Chicago won 3 straight NBA titles from 1991 to 1993 and made it look easy. Even when Jordan had a short-lived retirement, the Bulls remained strong. His return combined with the signing of Dennis Rodman brought another three-peat for Chicago. As the lockout delayed the 1998-1999 season, issues grew between the players and management over payouts and other issues. The result was one of the greatest collapses of a dynasty ever. Virtually overnight, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Coach Phil Jackson, and more were just gone. The Bulls slumped badly and have yet to recover. They've had a few positive years, but the fact is, the Bulls have never been the same since tearing down their dynasty. Number 2, the Nets mortgaged their future. The Nets have made a lot of bad moves over the years, but nothing can top this. It still boggles the mind just how short-sighted a team can be deciding to hand off some promising stars in exchange for a bunch of guys who clearly were feeling their age. Brooklyn received Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and DJ White, while Boston got Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries, Marshawn Brooks, Chris Joseph, Keith Boggins, 3 first-round picks, 2014, 16, and 18, plus the right to swap first-rounders in 2017. It looked like it worked as the Nets got in the playoffs in 2014, but then came the collapse as they haven't had a winning season since. Almost all the players involved are gone, while the Celtics used the draft picks from the trade to build into a serious contender, making the playoffs every year since the deal. It's one of the greatest cases ever of selling the farm for a long-term mess. Number 1, Magic losing Shaq. When they started, the Orlando Magic hardly lived up to their names. As an expansion team, they had a rough go of it and it took a while for things to click. They finally did when they landed Shaquille O'Neal. With his impressive size and elite skill, Shaq was a big star. He was also the marquee name Orlando long needed. He got the Magic to the conference finals in the back-to-back years and the NBA finals in 1995, although they couldn't finish the job. Shaq clearly was the reason Orlando was a contender, and you'd think Orlando would do everything imaginable to keep him. Instead, they refused to sign Shaq up to a bigger deal. He then headed to Los Angeles, where he'd win 3 straight titles with the Lakers, and later another with the Heat. Losing Shaq robbed Orlando of a magic touch they have never been able to regain since. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the next 2 videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.